Yo, I'm back. I don't even know what I want to talk about today. But last night, I totally got destroyed in the thought department regarding mortality. And, like, yeah, just the idea that, I'm not going to be here one day. And nor is my family. It almost makes me more sad, the idea that my family will not even be here one day. I can almost rationalize me not, but for someone else to cease is kind of scary. It almost feels not fair in a way. And that just destroyed me last night. I didn't even I was just journaling a little bit and suddenly that thought popped up and I was just like, holy smokes. It's just like a loaded thought. If you can actually deeply internalize and appreciate that fact that you at some point will just cease to experience. And for my life, I've been grappling, whatever, with that idea. Like even since I was, 6 years old, I was hoping that when I got older, it would just make sense that there would be a reason for it all, or that I could uncover the meaning in science. The whole quest of science is to explain it all. But honestly, the only thing that's happened when I gotten older is just growing to be okay with the idea that there's just never going to be some rationale, some rhyme or reason. Because I've played with the idea of living forever. And it sounds great on face value until you really start to acknowledge the idea of forever is. Forever means that you would have walked on the floor of your room not 100 times, not 1,000, but millions, billions, an infinite number of times. So many times, in fact, that you would have had to replace the same floor an infinite number of times. You would have had to get up, get out your tools an infinite number of times and fix the floor. And you would have used the tools so many times that you would have to replace each and every one of those tools an infinite number of times. It's just crazy. Forever is a long time. If you lived forever, then that means that you would have an infinite number of friends, an infinite number of relationships that almost become meaningless after a while. How could it be that you can hold on to an infinite number of things and assign each of them an importance? To do that, your brain would have to be infinite in itself. But we're finite. Our brains can hardly even comprehend the idea of forever or the infinite or really far into the future. We just are incapable. So if you were to live forever, I think you'd almost be sadder in a way. Be worse off. Probably be going to a deep depression because you would have experienced an infinite amount of change. There's going to be no semblance in the past 10 lives that you've lived, in all in the same life. Which is why it's intriguing when you think about the idea of being there at a time limit. Because deadlines almost assign meaning. You're forced to act. You're forced to actually care and engage. You're forced to appreciate. The contrast is there. You know, when you have a start date, an end date is necessary. It's like a balancing out of sorts. So I want to ruminate on that for a bit. Because honestly, appreciating the deadlines can really help you. I mean, in all my university work, my scholastic works, whenever there's a deadline, it's almost like a target. It's a target to push, to invoke some extra energy to get it done in time. And usually, if there's this far out deadline, procrastination sits in. You decide it's not worth to take charge of your own time right now to resolve the problem because, you know, the deadline's later. I don't have to worry about it. I can get my assignment done in a couple days. And when the deadline approaches, you go rush and scramble and get it done. And you always get it done. That's the unbelievable part. You always get it done. But how was the quality? Did you build the assignment to a level of quality that you actually are proud of? Or was it this rushed mess that you could just hand it in? I hope you can see the parallels between life and that. When you appreciate that there is a deadline, when you will die, you are able to, well, I mean, it's very easy to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna die in 70 years, I'm not have to worry about that. I can just start living and appreciating. Sure, live and appreciate. But are you actually doing the things that you want? Are you actually appreciating what you want? Are you like intentionally building the quality of life that you want? Or are you just waiting for the deadline to come closer so that you'll finally wake up to the idea that you don't have forever for this assignment? So that it'll force you to finally wake up and realize that you should start appreciating life. You know, if your parent passes away, often that's a signal to people that they wake up. They realize they don't got forever. They realize that things change. That this sensation of our stability is nothing but this tiny, like balance, like this whole platform on this tiny balanced edge. It can crash down in a moment's notice. You know, and I get it. It can be very anxiety-inducing and very stressful to think about. Oh my gosh, the end. You know, I have to live, make every moment matter so much, and nah. There's again this active balance that needs to be performed. It's just good to keep in mind. Not good to let it control you. Because when you're so obsessed with the deadline, again, you become, like, going back to like an assignment in school. When you're so obsessed with the deadline, you almost get anxiety. You almost can't perform. You can't do the assignment because you're so worried about finishing the assignment. So there's that aspect too. The good part is, though, you're trying to think about the assignment. You're trying to work towards it. I think that's the function of life that creates this meaning for us. But if we're never aware of the end, why would we ever care about living to begin with? Because if you lived forever, human nature says that you just procrastinate everything. When we feel like we have forever, we don't actually tackle our problems. We just kick them to the future. Just think about living in a world where you just never felt like you had to just wake up and engage. So, while this whole conversation made me feel very sad and worried last night, today's a new day. It's you can respin the idea of the end as a benefit to you. It's this very fine line, because on one hand, there being an end is terrifying. It's not going to be there one day. It's all going to be over, everything as you know it. But then by there being an end, you can actually appreciate and care and experience such colors of life if you so choose. But you have to choose. You have to wake up a little bit and internalize this aspect. That's what I've been trying to do, and these past couple of years in my life has never been better. I'm constantly making a better life every day for me. And my appreciation for it just grows. Anyway, I'm Matthew. Back to thesis writing. Boom. Peace.